So throughout your career, you've had some issues with some of the biggest rappers, right? Now let's break it down. Let's break it down one by one, man. Because you got at some people. What is the situation with Afrika Bambaataa?
Yo, before I go into that, let me just give you my perspective because I want you to understand. You are interviewing someone who didn't get the piece of the pie, someone who was kicked under the rug, someone who was deprived of a lot of things in this hip hop culture.
Blackballed.
Exactly. So I'm not coming from Kaz or Africa or Melly Mel or Pow Wow or Kool Herc or I'm not coming from my storyline is nothing like this. I'm the guy that was kicked under the rug. So I got nothing but my whole storyline is nothing but grudges, disappointment, frustration, and just pointing the finger and naming names and keeping it a G and stating the facts. So for me, right, hip hop has always been a competitive sport. Let's clear the air with that. You understand? It's always been competitive, but a lot of people say I be doing too much. But I was under the impression that, hey, don't we all supposed to be doing too much when it comes to this? So when I started realizing that this thing was more of like a fraternity, where a few guys had got together and created this narrative. And as long as they all stuck to the narrative, they all would be relevant in hip hop. So I seen that go on with a few cats, Kaz, Melly Mel, Kool Herc, Afrika Bambaataa, and a few others, Curtis Blow and them. They came together collectively and collaborated on this narrative about hip hop and sold it to the public. And, like I mentioned when Fat Joe had made that statement, I was there. And so, again, like people say, I be doing too much. I take this hip hop shit too seriously. And I do. And I want everybody to understand that. I take this shit very seriously. Because like I told you, Panda, that changed my life. So it gave me an outlet to ventilate, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have to ventilate upside somebody's head now. I could just pick up a pen and paper and do some writing and grab a microphone and go on stage and I'll be good. But when I saw a lot of the things that I didn't know about hip hop, like I grew up in the South Bronx, so I heard Afrika Bambaataa's name a lot. I heard Kool Herc's name a lot, Melly Mel and all of these brothers. And I knew what hip hop meant to me. So there was this guy, I forgot his name. He was on YouTube. And I meant to write this brother's name down because I knew I was going to discuss this with you, but I'm sorry, I forgot his name. But anyway, he was a blogger, and he was talking about how Afrika Bambaataa was a pedophile.
Hassan Campbell.
No, not her. No, this is before that brother Hassan Campbell and before that dude Ronald Savage. I had brought this up a year before Star had talked about it. I had a Blog Talk radio show on Blog Talk Radio, and I had heard these allegations about Afrika Bambaataa. So what I did was I invited DJ Mean Gene from the L Brothers, Grand Wizard Theodore's brother. I invited him to my Blog Talk radio show back in the day to inquire about these allegations. And he was boiling hot. I let him hear what the brother said about how Afrika Bambaataa has been a pedophile. He's been a homosexual. He used to mess with little boys. He's let hip hop be infiltrated by all nationalities. I ran it down to him and let him hear the brother. And Mean Gene brother was irate. He was so upset. He said, Wiz, I gotta go. And he left my show right there. But what he did was he called me the next day with Afrika Bambaataa on the line. And I told Barnum, I said, listen, bro, I don't know you like that, but yo, I'm going to just ask you the truth, man. I just want to know if you did it or not. And he said, brother, I'm going to tell you, man, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. And I said, well, listen, I can't judge you, and I'm not here to judge you. All I know is you spoke to me one-on-one, and you told me you didn't do that. And that's all I could speak on. So as years went, as a little bit more time went by, doing research and stuff on this stuff, I'm hearing a year later now Ronald Savage comes out with this allegation, and then after that, Hassan Campbell comes out with these allegations, and then bodyguards start speaking up, and story of him leaving the country and has some little boy, and then he getting stabbed, and I'm starting to hear all this stuff, and I'm like, damn, man, that's some fucked up shit if that shit is fucking true. Because I just thought of the disappointment that, you know, our community and the embarrassment, the tarnishing of this guy's behavior, and knowing that it's true. I mean, I was like, wow, man. So I was fucked up with that. And I wrote a song about Bam for that shit. You know, I put him on blast. I called him out. I said what I felt. And, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, I had to put him on the chopping block, man. On the chopping block.
Did you have a relationship with him back in the days?
No, we never had a relationship at all. Like, we met a few times. We greeted each other, pound up each other and shit like that. But we never had a one-on-one relationship. Not at all, no.
Wow. So, and I mean, as the time goes on and you're hearing more and more of these claims, it's really hard to kind of not believe that there might be some truth to it then.
Surely. I mean, you know, like, we dealing with some funny guys. You know, when you put two and two together and you add it up, you know, it don't look too right. You know, I mean, you know, people, I mean, a grown man is not going to get up on national TV and expose himself. And if there isn't some truth to those allegations, I mean, that's a lot for a man to do. Most guys who probably experience that will have keep it in a secret their entire lives. But for someone in their younger days, while they're still young, to get up there on social media and give dates, times, and places and make allegations like that, you know, that's something you don't play with. So I already knew it was some truth. And then years later on, you got Melly Mel coming out saying it. You got what I think was another brother. I think it was Raheem, who was making allegations. He had saw some funny shit and stuff. So I'm like, wow, you know, I mean, if y'all brothers would have mentioned this shit way back in the days, we wouldn't be here talking today. But it is what it is, man. These guys got relationships and friendships with each other for long terms. So they don't want to burn their bridges. They don't want to put their man on blast, even though they may know some facts behind that shit. But as far as burning their bridge, because they got these long-term friendships, and, you know, everything has been facilitized between them and the narration has been created, you know, it's hard for people to get up and speak the truth. You know what I'm saying? So that's what a lot of these hip-hop clowns is on, man. They don't want to speak the truth. They'd rather just live in a fantasy, live in the past, and hope for the better.
So a couple things I want to add on to that, because when I interviewed K Born, right, he did say that, you know, a lot of people in prison end up that happens to them, right? They end up getting raped or something like that, and a lot of people will not, if not all, will not admit to such a thing. So to have a man especially come on and say that something like that happened to him is a really big deal. But on the other side of it, you got to understand that we are in an era now where people want attention for anything. So it is possible that somebody could lie on that, no matter the ramifications, no matter what, you know, before people wouldn't do, right? So it's a tricky situation, but I totally understand where you're coming from with it. And as far as the whole protection part, some people would argue that entertainment business, Hollywood, a lot of people are on that.
Yes.
A lot of people are doing those type of activities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the new thing today. But my thing is this, Panda. If I've been accused of some horrific activity, some extracurricular activity that's horrific and immoral, the first thing that I'm going to do, and I'm sure anybody with a clear mind who's innocent, is going to clear their name.
That's a fact.
You're going to definitely get up in front of the podium, in front of hip hop, in front of the Bronx, in front of whoever, grab the mic, and you're going to continue to declare your innocence. If you're innocent, I'm not going to fade out, run away, hide, ignore the facts, not address my people who's looking at me crooked. I'm not going to do that if I'm innocent.
Yeah, but didn't they say that like Bam has like some memory issues or something, some health things going on now, so he don't care? Or
Didn't they say that we've been to the moon before?
okay, all right, I got you.